And now I'd like to introduce someone who absolutely needs no introduction, our 63rd governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and my good friend, Andy Beshear.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. It feels really good to be here today. Really good to be here today. I'm excited to be at this year's 49th KACo conference, and I'm even more excited that I'm going to be at next year's 50th KACo conference. I was honored last Tuesday that the people of the Commonwealth of Kentucky put their faith in this administration for another 4 years. And let me tell you, we are not going to waste 1 minute. Every second in this job, and I know in yours, is precious. It is another opportunity to do more for our people, to bring in that next good job, to make that road that much safer, to provide the services that our people need. And I am thrilled at not what but at what we can do over these next 4 years. I've been thinking a whole lot lately about how our news is kind of disassociated with so many of our families' lives. Listen, our families don't wake up every morning thinking about politics. They don't wake up every morning thinking about what party they're in or who's going to be president. They wake up every morning thinking about the job they're going to and whether or not it's providing the opportunities for their kids. They're thinking about the doctor's appointments they need to get their parents and their children to. They're thinking about that road or that bridge that they are going to cross on the way to work. They're thinking about what's going on in their hometown and in their home county. And I think over these next 4 years, a chance for all of us, outside all of the noise, outside of the partisanship and the bickering and the toxicity that seems to be out there, focusing on those things that people wake up every morning thinking about. I think that we can do some really special things together. Now, I took a few days off, but the last 2 days being back, we've already done not announcements, not groundbreakings, but ribbon cuttings on 2 new facilities in Kentucky, over 700 good-paying jobs. And as I was at both of them, what I got to say is the truth, that while people or parties in Frankfort want to argue about credit over it, this is a team sport. Bettering our Commonwealth is a team sport. And when we allow ourselves to bicker with each other, all we do is make that team less strong. I was thinking about in Bullitt County this morning, the fact that the Judge Summers and the mayor, our economic development cabinet, all working together to make that project happen. Even just our everyday folks who are living out their faith and values of kindness, smiling at a stranger that's in our hometown that might be thinking about moving their family there. The fact is, we are on an economic win streak, the likes of which we've never seen, and everybody in this room either deserves credit for what we have done or what we can do. And the opportunity that's in front of us to do it together, to turn 4 great years of economic development into 8, which equals decades of prosperity, is a really exciting thing where we can all, I believe, meet the reason that we ran. Because I don't believe anybody in here ran so that there could be one more R versus D or D versus R or I versus R or D. That one's for you, Judge. I think we all ran because we want to leave a better state. We want to leave better opportunities to our kids and to our grandkids. And right now, we are winning in all of those areas where it lifts every single family up. And it propels our state forward so much faster than other states are seeing. I believe that we have a can't-miss opportunity together to do some really special things. And you know, as our local leaders, how special that this Commonwealth is. This is a state full of proud people who take care of each other. We believe in the golden rule that says we love our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan that says everyone's our neighbor, no exceptions. We get through the tough times, and we get through them together. We got a lot of judges and mayors that are here that have helped guide their counties and their cities through the toughest times imaginable, and everybody who's been governing for 4 years had to face that pandemic, likes of which none of us had ever seen. For your leadership, not only am I grateful, but the people of your communities and of all of Kentucky are proud of the work that you have done. I've been honored to stand next to you, to try to provide the resources, to be there as much as I can, but you are there in those trenches every single day trying to rebuild, trying to revitalize, and trying to move forward. And because of your leadership, we are on track. And we are going to come back from every natural disaster and from every setback stronger than before. Can we give these local leaders a big round of applause for their leadership? You know, for about a year and a half, every day we said, you know, we'll get through this and we'll get through this together. And we were talking about the tough times. But I think we get to the good times and we get to those together as well. And man, are we getting to them. Kentucky is on a historic win streak, coming off the 2 best years for economic development in our history. And 2023 will be a top 3 or 4 year in our history. And folks, I'm telling you, from what I'm seeing in our economic development pipeline, next year has a chance to be even better than this year. Every single day, we're getting calls from the biggest companies on planet Earth. And as you all know, you host them. They are looking all over Kentucky. We have people looking in every single county. That for the first time, work is coming to people instead of people being expected to drive to work. And that creates a unique opportunity in every single one of your communities for us to work together. Since I became governor, we, and I want to say that again today, we have now announced over 904 private sector new location and expansion projects. We have brought in a record $27.8 billion of new investment and created almost 50,000 new jobs at the second and third highest wages that the state has ever seen. And what I love, and what you will continue to see from us, is a strong effort working with you to make sure they come all around this Commonwealth. Every community deserves to have the opportunities where no matter how big our Kentucky kids dream, they can chase those dreams not just in the confines of the Commonwealth, but in the region and in the community they're from. Every single one of your counties deserves the very best, deserves the biggest jobs announcements, deserves the infrastructure grants that I hope we can continue, deserves to every day that you go to work to be excited. Not pessimistic like it seems our country is, but excited about what we're doing on the ground every day to move our families forward. I look at the Purchase, Pennyrile, and Green River regions. Since taking office, we've announced 4,000 new jobs, $3.5 billion of new investment. That's facilities like Pratt Paper in Henderson, 321 new jobs. Ascend in Hopkinsville, 400 new jobs coming. Osmondson, which announced it was coming to Mayfield on the 1-year anniversary of the tornadoes. An amazing revitalization that is going to lift up that community. You look at Novellus in Guthrie that is doing so much in Todd County that they're going to double that town in size. That's what these opportunities can mean, not just to a county, but a small community. Alstrom Monksjo, which we cut the ribbon on, 51 great new jobs in Madisonville. You go over the Barron River and Lincoln Trails region, 14,000 new jobs, $12.6 billion in new investment, including the largest single investment in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Listen, that Blue Oval SK, $5.8 billion investment, 5,000 new jobs, and it's all coming. Take the politics out. The CEO of Ford told me that, and he'd tell you that. That is a game changer for every part of this Commonwealth. Many are already seeing it, the suppliers and where they're going. But let me tell you, that put us on a map to where we're now not just the EV battery production capital of the United States of America, but bringing in all types of other parts of that industry. We are going to be the center of automotive production of the future right here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. You look at Bowling Green, where we seem to announce something new, Amy, just about every week. AESC, the second biggest investment in our history, $2 billion, 2,000 new jobs. Bean Suntory in Nelson County, Trader Joe's in Franklin, 876 new jobs. That groundbreaking was one of the coldest days I've ever sat outside. but it was well worth it to see what it was going to mean to that community. T. Marzetti in Horse Cave loves the workforce there so much that they have expanded multiple times. And as long as you eat at Chick-fil-A, they supply all those sauces, so keep going there, and we'll continue to create more jobs in Kentucky. You look at the Bluegrass, KIPTA, and Northern Kentucky regions, 25,700 jobs, more than $9.9 billion in investment. It's everything from the reinvestment in the Ford truck plant in Louisville, where we make the Expedition, where we make the Ford F-250. That's so many of our people's office when they're out on construction sites, where we make the ambulances that help get our people to the hospitals. You look at Toyota in Georgetown, which just announced a $1 billion investment last year that's going to keep that largest plant in the United States not just relevant, but at the very front of Toyota's plans. You look at Amazon in Boone County, the single largest investment in the history of Amazon. It's in Kentucky, and they continue to make more. You look at Nucor in Gallatin, where they continue to invest, or Intervenue, just one of the new companies in Shelby County. You look at the Big Sandy Gateway in Kentucky River regions, $460 million, 900 new jobs. Some of the highest tech jobs in Kentucky are at Regent in Moorhead. Whether that is the missile defense system that was used at the Afghani airport to get our people out safely, or whether it's the headsets on the sideline so that Bill Belichick can't steal any more calls. That's Regent right there in Moorhead. You look at Neogen in Mount Sterling, moving in to a facility that one of the largest employers had left, breathing new life into it. Wright Block and Precast in Pike, Porter Steel in Floyd, WellCare in Perry. I mean, these are happening all over Kentucky. And at the same time that we are bringing in record numbers of new jobs, we have a state budget. We have state finances that are healthier than they have been in my lifetime. The three biggest budget surpluses in our history are over these last 4 years. The largest rainy day fund in our history, $3.7 billion, was there for not just a rainy day, but a windy day as well. You look at a record for the longest period of low unemployment, lowest annual, lowest monthly, and longest period. And we were able to do all this while reducing income tax and the property tax rate 3 separate times. You look at what we're doing in terms of infrastructure. You all know that is one of the most important things to people when they wake up in the morning and go about their days. And let me tell you, I think our transportation cabinet is doing an amazing job. They're doing their regular job, whether that's new projects or whether it's the resurfacing and the rest. They're doing the debris cleanup. And so much work in counties that have been hit. And, folks, we are doing 3 mega projects that people claimed were impossible, and we're doing them all at the same time. I mean, we're building the Brent Spence Companion Bridge without tolls, something they said could never happen. We're 4-laning the Mountain Parkway for the first time in history. Every section of it is either completed, under construction, or under contract. And we're moving that I-69 project forward so fast that Indiana is struggling to catch up. I'll talk about our proposed budget in a minute. But for those other 2 projects, we will propose putting general fund dollars into them to try to secure more federal dollars and to speed them up, especially on the Mountain Parkway. I want to drive that whole 4-lane parkway while I'm still governor, and we're going to put the resources towards trying to make that happen. Together, we've deployed $500 million of clean drinking water grants, and I know how much they're needed. We've got more dollars coming in for internet and internet access, making some amazing announcements in your communities. We're building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth. We've opened the cleanest, greenest recycled paper mill in the country. So as I'm here today, as you can tell, I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic, and I'm hopeful, because I don't remember us ever winning at this level of being able to deploy as many resources in our communities to try to make sure that absolutely everyone has a chance. And we're not having to pick either ors anymore. I mean, we're creating enough good jobs out there to where we can employ everyone, we can get healthy enough, educated enough, and trained enough to fill. So think about what we can do, not just meeting the needs of our employers and supercharging our economy, Think about what we can do with that number of good-paying jobs to fight generational poverty and restore hope in places that it's been lost. As we move forward, it's also time to get some really important things done in the Commonwealth. We will not be able to stay number 2 in per capita economic development, which we are right now, if we are 44th in starting teacher pay. This next year, I need your help for significant raises for every public school employee across this state. It is desperately needed. And if we truly want to step up and move forward in ways not just 4 years from now, but 10 years from now, folks, it is time for universal pre-K across the Commonwealth. Every 4-year-old deserves that opportunity. Now, I never thought that I'd hear from a family what I did. They said, listen, I thought I was poor, but I didn't know I wasn't poor enough to qualify for Head Start. That family is stuck. And because of that, that child starts behind. We're rightfully talking about learning loss. I sat with my kids with that computer. I experienced what other parents did. But the fact is, almost 50% of our kids enter kindergarten behind. Learning loss they never make up for. Let's make sure they never start behind. And then you can just see what happens in other states when they do this. Look at it from a workforce standpoint. Well, Washington, D.C. was the last place that did universal pre-K. They added 8% to their workforce in 1 year. Or go talk to any of our judges or magistrates up in northern Kentucky, because Cincinnati is about to launch universal pre-K for their entire city. So if you're a young couple and daycare's looking at, what, $10,000, $15,000 a year potentially for you, and right across the river, there's a chance for your kids to have universal pre-K. For you to avoid those costs, it puts us at a competitive disadvantage, like it's putting us at a competitive disadvantage with other states. But we're going to keep attracting new jobs, new industries, build our workforce, get our people healthier, make sure that we are maximizing the potential of every single Kentuckian. In the end, it's just about building the Kentucky we always dreamed of, and the potential and opportunity to move forward and faster to it is more tangibly in front of us than I can ever remember. But to talk about where we're going, we got to acknowledge that we've been through a lot together. Devastating tornadoes in the West. We lost 81 children of God in that. Historic flooding in the East. We lost 45 children of God in that. And many of us in this room, and I think everybody across Kentucky, made the same promise, that we were going to rebuild every home and every life. Scott, I'm going to continue to show up. Robbie, I'm going to continue to be there each and every day. Every single one of these families and these communities doesn't just deserve recovery, you deserve revitalization. And whether it's what we're doing with high ground communities or the fact in Mayfield and Dawson Springs, we've gone from rebuilding homes to rebuilding full neighborhoods. There is a better world, a better county, a better opportunity in front of us. Yes, we're having to go through hell to get there. And your people are too, but I promise you, I will stand with you and I will help deliver that very bright future for all our people that have been through way too much trauma. And everybody here, I pledge to continue to be a governor who serves all people, regardless of your party, regardless of who you voted for. Listen, they do all those maps on election night. I don't believe in red counties or blue counties. I just believe in counties of our Kentucky families that deserve the very best from their governors, from their judges, from their magistrates, deserve people to show up every day, just trying to do everything we can, not to move to the right or the left, but to move forward, because when we do that, it doesn't leave anybody out, and it lifts everybody up. Now, these next 4 years, we have an opportunity to come further together and to stop all this bickering that we see. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted from it, and I think our families are too. You know, we saw yesterday in Washington, D.C., somebody challenged somebody else to a fight in a committee hearing. I don't know about y'all, but that'd get everybody else fired at work. We got to do better than that. And while we probably can't change them, we can make sure how we act and how we live up to our faith and to our values. We can disagree strenuously, but you know what? We can be polite. We can be kind to each other while we do it. We can let one person finish before the next person starts. I mean, we can do this in a way that is civil and to where if our kids are watching, they're not embarrassed or learning bad practices. I believe we're at a point in our country where the toxicity has become too much, and we can at least do something about it. In our counties, in our regions, and in this Commonwealth, I promise you I will always try to do my part. I don't always live up to it. I think I do more than I don't. But I look forward to working with you, regardless of disagreements, in a way that we can always be proud of how we communicate. And as we come in to this next year, I want to tell you, I think that the proposed budget you are going to see from my office is the best budget for counties that you will have ever seen. In our proposed budget, you are going to see me propose another $500 million in water and sewer grants over the next biennium. I'm so proud of that program, and you all deserve the credit. I mean, you got together with your local officials. You came up with how you wanted to do it. Frankfort didn't tell you what to do. We gave you the resources to do what you knew needed to be done, and I want to continue to govern that way. We're proposing a $50 million grant fund for repairing bridges all across Kentucky, knowing that there's so many that need it. We will propose, and we'll really need your help on this one, an increase in the discretionary funding in the transportation budget. As you all know, because Rocky says it about every 10 minutes, the limitations on that fund don't hurt me, they hurt you. They hurt our ability to respond in real time to that next thing that desperately needs to be done. And I want to thank so many judges and magistrates that I've talked to all across the political spectrum that see this as something critical in helping each of your communities. You're going to see us in the next budget, because of the federal funds coming down, with over $1 billion included to bring broadband internet access to every single part of this Commonwealth. You're going to see us propose a body armor grant fund so that law enforcement officers all across Kentucky don't have to decide in that smaller fund between body armor or tasers or other equipment, that we can get the very best in protection. What saved Trooper Ball's night, that night outside of Prestonsburg, that each and every one of them we ask to walk into a hail of bullets like Officer Wilt did for my friends, have the very best protecting them. You're going to see us once again propose 100% of all coal severance funds go back to our coal counties, every single dollar. You're going to see us continue that KPDI, the Product Development Initiative grants, and my goodness, since we launched that program, y'all's proposals have gotten better and better and better. More regionalism, more people coming together realizing that a big employer at one park helps 3 or 4 counties. Y'all are breaking down county barrier lines that have persisted since 1792, though we have a lot more of them since then. And you're getting things done together in really special ways. That program makes sure that each of you can have your Glendale, that we are putting in the money, and you've already seen it. I mean, the first ones of these we announced already have employers coming to them. The timeline has been even faster than we could have ever dreamed of, and it's the single fastest way that we can get that next site, not just shovel ready, but build ready. And I finally want to mention one more time these educator raises. I mean, I mention them because we got a teacher shortage, we got a bus driver shortage, we don't have enough employer in your county. And by so drastically underpaying the members of our school system, we're impoverishing your communities. So just imagine what an 11% raise means to your largest employer, what it's going to do for for the economy in your county. This would be a major influx of dollars directly to your families, not going through or to government, but actually putting dollars in their pockets that they will deploy hopefully as locally as they can to your other businesses and opportunities there. If you want to talk about providing a jump start in the lives of so many of your families, but also what will help boom a local economy, I truly believe that it is an absolute critical point that we have to move forward. And let me tell you, I've got colleagues, one named Bill Lee in Tennessee and one named Eric Holcomb in Indiana, that are trying to do this same thing. You know, we are of different parties, but we talk regularly. Bill and I have been through some very similar and very difficult experiences that bonded us, from mass shootings to losing soldiers at Fort Campbell, and sadly we just lost 5 more in a helicopter accident over the Mediterranean Sea. I hope that you will pray for those families. They're at Fort Campbell, so whichever line they live across, we consider them ours, meaning we lost some of our own. Eric and I talked every week during the pandemic and have worked so closely together on so many different things. This is an area that all 3 of us agree on is critical to the future of our states, is critical to the future of the United States of America. And if our neighbors to the north and the south are increasing educator pay, we better step up and do the same. So I want to thank you for everybody that's been here the 4 years that I have. I really appreciate the fact that you have been so welcoming and open, that we have been able to work together these last 4 years. To anybody who's newer, I want that same opportunity with you. I'm sitting here today, term limited, which also feels pretty good, but not worried about a win or a lose for me. I'm worried about a win for our Commonwealth, about putting one foot in front of the other and just marching together at that determined pace towards a brighter future. I've never been in Kentucky at a time when I believe we have a chance not just to leapfrog 10 other states' economies, we have a chance to be a top 10 state economy. That's what I see every day in our numbers. That's what we see in the rankings. Number 2 in per capita economic development. Number 3 in the creation of rural jobs. Number 5 in the evaluation of how we're investing in our infrastructure. Number 5 and how Site Selection Magazine believes we're bringing future prosperity. Those are really exciting. And we got to make sure we don't get in our own way and we don't let other people get in our way. You know, I talk about not Team Red or Team Blue, but one Team Kentucky. That's why we do what we do. And over these next 4 years, I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And I look forward to hearing your ideas for what's next. You know, so many of the things that we've accomplished, I'm admitting, weren't my idea. Weren't the General Assembly's idea. And that's where the fight for credit seems to be. They were your ideas. They were ideas that had probably been around your county and your region for years and decades. And we were finally able to work together to get the funding to get it done. And the more and more I can, that'll be my goal, to make sure that we can get your objectives and the objectives for the people of your county done. Because again, we're one Kentucky. Every county deserves the very best. Every one of our families deserves the very best. And I believe we're as close as we've ever been to building that Kentucky we have always dreamed of. Let's be the officials that push everything else aside and get it done. God bless y'all. Thank you very much.